Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebral lights. It's me, the Cerebral Diva, back with another episode of RealiTEA, and that's TEA because I give it to you scalding hot. So grab your cups, grab your saucers, gather around, and let's all partake in this libation of Bachelorette tea. Alright, people, so this is going to be a pretty interesting video. I kind of want to read to you some of the comments from a previous video that I did. I'm going to try to leave the link to that, but before I do that, you might hear a few clicks because I'm going to try to pull the video up so I can go to the comments and you guys can hear some of the interesting things that people have had to say, and these things are very interesting. So, give me just 1 second here. Alright. So, for those of you who are not aware, the Bachelorette actually chose their first black Bachelorette this past Monday. Well, they chose her a few weeks ago, but the show debuted this past Monday. Her name is Rachel Lindsay. And Rachel, who is, a very likable girl in her own right. Don't have any, absolutely no issues, no qualms with her whatsoever. But I made some comments about the show that were apparently not what some people wanted to hear. And so, alright, so I'm going to read to you guys a couple of comments. So, Love83 Forever says, she is just doing what black guys normally do. They would have chosen white women first, then black women would be lucky to be picked at all. Okay, that's one comment. And the one girl's Vanessa West, I believe is her name. She says, this is her speaking, not me. If you was rooting for Rachel, but not now, then you really wasn't rooting for her then. You are only interested in her if she chooses only black men or BM. BM could be bowel movement. I don't know exactly what she's saying, but I think BM is black man. Okay. Now that you see that she is not gonna mammy herself by putting black men on a pedestal, but instead she is gonna pick the race of men she wants, now you don't want to root for her. Well, that's good. I think that's a great idea for you to stop watching the show. Rachel needs true supporters. She doesn't need fair weather friends. You support her, then support her choice. Not who. Look, this. I'm trying to make sense of the senseless here, but this is what she's saying. Then she says to me, I'm curious, were you offended when black men celebrities show white and non-black females and sent black women home packing? I'm getting sort of the feeling that English is not her first language. No shade whatsoever, but that's just sort of the feeling that I'm getting from the writing. And there's several comments along that line, just of black women who clearly, in my opinion, I don't know this to be factual, but if I were to hypothesize, I would say that these are black women who date exclusively outside of their race, which is fine. Date who you want to date. I'm not going to let who you think I should be with affect who I choose. So don't let what I think affect who you choose. This is just me giving my opinion. And when I watched The Bachelorette this week, I'm not going to lie. As a black woman, I was saddened by the fact that Rachel didn't seem to have a greater affinity for black men. And I feel entitled to feel that way. You know, I don't have to, just because I support Rachel, like supporting someone does not mean that I have to forego my own logic, my own reason. It doesn't mean that I have to have a blind allegiance to anything. I'm not a member of a Rachel cult. So just because I support Rachel doesn't mean that for some reason I have to suspend my beliefs, my values, and my opinion. I can still be supportive of her as a black woman, as a woman who's making strides in television and in her career choices, but still have some criticisms. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. So, having said that, one of the things that really got me this week about some of the commentary that I was getting from people is that a lot of people keep sort of saying, well, black men do it to black women. Black men do it to black women. Yes, I agree. I do. I don't play favorites. I don't play favorites. I don't give black men a pass who date outside of their race. I don't give black women a pass who date outside of their race. At the end of the day, my opinion is my opinion, and just because I believe something doesn't make it gospel. You don't have to subscribe to what I believe, but this is my channel. This is the platform where I talk about what I believe. So if you're offended by that, if you don't want to hear that, then the door is that way. Please leave and do me a favor, don't come back. So I don't have a problem with people dating outside of their race. That is not my issue with Rachel and her choosing. What the problem that bothered me was the fact that she seemed to choose white guy after white guy after white guy after white guy, and then at a certain point it's like a light came on. She's like, oh, there's some black guys here, so let me choose a couple of them, almost like an afterthought. Yes, that bothered me. Because I just wish that black people would get it at some point. It's not that you can't. See, I don't have a problem with people dating outside of their race. I have a problem when you date exclusively out of your race, or if you date preferentially out of your race. And I don't even, maybe problem isn't the word that I should use, because to just be completely transparent, it's not like I'm rocking myself to sleep at night. I'm tossing and turning like, oh, these black men and these black women, they really need to love on each other more and be together more. And, that's when I go to sleep, as selfish as it may sound, my concern is for me, my life, the progressions and steps that I'm taking in my own life. I don't give a damn who Rachel winds up with, because once the show is gone, she's an afterthought. But what bothers me so much is that these black women keep coming on here commenting, well, black men wouldn't have chosen a black woman. But the whole reason that Rachel is the black bachelorette is because a white man didn't choose her. So how is it that these black women can hold black men to one standard for saying they don't choose black women, but at the same time, Rachel didn't get chosen by a white man either. But for whatever reason, they're so myopic in their thought process that they can see the fact that black men don't choose black women, but not necessarily see the fact that Rachel, by virtue of being the bachelorette, she was not chosen by a white man. That is a fact. So I want to read to you guys something really quick here. And I'm reading from a smartphone, so if I stammer a little bit, is because I'm trying to scroll and find my place on this particular page. But I want to read to you guys. Some of you may not be familiar with Willie Lynch, and some of you may. And so when I read the comments on my video, I realize that Willie Lynch is alive and kicking in 2017. So I'm going to read really quickly here, excuse me. It says, gentlemen, I greet you on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. First, I shall thank you, gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. And I'm gonna skip through here because I don't want to read to you guys all of this sort of superfluous stuff here. Give me just 1 second. Okay, he says here, I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are only using valuable stock by hangings. You are having uprisings, slaves are running away, your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires, your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag, I have a foolproof method of controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control your slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, envy, and control. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. The methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantation status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have this list of differences, I shall give to you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than fear. That distrust is stronger than trust. Envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch old black male versus young black male against old black male. You must use dark-skinned slaves versus light-skinned slaves. You must use light-skinned slaves versus dark-skinned slaves. You must use female versus male, male versus female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it's necessary that your slaves trust you and depend on us. They must love and respect and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kids are your keys for control. So it goes on further and it gets a little bit more in depth. But I feel like and keep in mind, guys, it's like 2:30 a.m., so I'm a little tired here. I feel like when I hear the comments from people on my channel about this particular video, it's the manifestation of this slave kit that Willie Lynch speaks of. At the end of the day, love who you choose to love. But love begins with self. Love starts with self. And if I look at a black man as a black woman and I don't recognize my own image and see love in that, there's something amiss to me. Now, some people may not see it that way, and that's fine. You don't have to see it that way. Just because I choose to see it that way, or just because whatever filters I see life through lead me to that notion, that's not to say that that's the right choice for you. I'm not trying to make everyone, sort of have this homogenized belief or pathology. Believe what you choose to believe. But I have a right to believe what I believe. And I believe when a black woman or a black man, and the reason I'm speaking specifically of a black woman is because we're talking about the Bachelorette. I don't want people to sort of get this twisted and think that, I'm giving black men a pass. I'm not giving black men a pass. We're talking about the Bachelorette. So that's why this is about black women. If we were talking about the first black bachelor and he did what Rachel did, we would be having the same conversation, and I would probably be a little bit more upset. In any case, I think that it's self-loathing to a degree when you are not attracted to essentially what created you, what propagated you, when you're not attracted to what procreated you, and so I have an issue with that. And I don't see that ever changing. And if you're looking for someone who's going to sort of pussyfoot around the issues, then you probably shouldn't come to my channel, because I'm going to tell you how I really feel about things. I may not do it in a way that's meant to be crude or abrasive, but you are going to hear my honest and my visceral thoughts about certain issues. And if it's about race, I'm going to tell you how I truly feel. I'm not someone who's looking to race bait and create this sort of divide between black versus white. You know, I do believe in unification. I do believe in a harmony, if you will. But I also believe that you have to be comfortable in the skin that you're born in. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So, having said that, you guys, I think I've gone on for more than enough. So, I'm going to step off my soapbox and try to get some rest, because I have to be up for the gym in about 2 hours. Wish me well. So, yeah, that's about it. As always, you guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and please share if you feel so inclined. Remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a fantastic day.